Back to our area, meteorologist Lindsay Gaffney will have a complete look at your forecast. And some area schools are preparing for last-minute dangers this severe weather season. KOAM News at 10 is next. Now at 10, storms could bring rain and even a little bit of snow back to the area. Meteorologist Lindsay Gaffney has the latest on what we can expect. Plus, area school districts turn their eyes to the sky as severe weather season approaches. And grant money headed to Coffeyville could soon transform the city's historic downtown area.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Storms could soon bring some snow back to the area. This is KOAM News at 10. I'm Dow Quick. The question is just how much could we get? Meteorologist Lindsay Gaffney joins us with a first look at the weather.
Well, we do have a lot going on over the next couple of days. So tonight we've got low to elevated risk for severe weather that's starting around 11 p.m. as early as 11 p.m. Now tomorrow we've got quite a bit going on. Early morning storms, mid-afternoon supercells, and late night snow. So quite a bit going on in a 24-hour span. Now tonight our threat remains pretty low for tornadoes or hail to develop, but winds are going to be our main threat. Elevated risk out there in the western counties as this system starts to move in. And again, it's going to be closer to midnight. Currently, though, winds are gusting up to 35-40 miles per hour out of the south. So that's going to be what we're seeing ahead of all these storms moving in. Now we've got a wind advisory and a high wind warning. High wind warning is the lighter yellow over there. Now out in the far west, we also have severe thunderstorm watch. And then you can even see Ponca City, we've got a tornado watch as well. So quite a bit moving into the area over the next several hours. Already have a couple severe thunderstorm warnings on them. And then you can see we've got a spike in rain chances early morning, but still supercells coming in the afternoon. Now, with severe weather season rapidly approaching, many area school districts will start tornado drills. And those drills are for warning issued during the school day. But what about warnings that are issued when students are already on their way home heading by bus? Now, KOAM's Chris Warner spoke with 2 local districts on how they handle those last-minute warnings.
The 4 states is no stranger to severe weather, and local school districts have plans to keep students safe.
The best place for our kids and our families are in the shelters and the safe rooms. So if we can keep them all there for as long as possible until the danger is past, that's our first priority.
For years, we've had severe weather late at night or on the weekend. However, severe weather has also hit a few times during the school day, leading district officials to change tactics to keep everyone safe. Last year, a tornado warning in Newton County came minutes before the school day was out. With kids still in school, they moved to shelters, and parents waiting to pick up their kids were allowed inside the school safe rooms. But what if that warning came unexpectedly?
We try to use every resource we have to try to anticipate not only track but also timing of the storms to anticipate, we want to keep our kids in place. Obviously, we don't want our kids out going into storms. We also don't want our families going out in the storms.
Kyle Baldridge with Miami Public Schools says if significant severe weather is expected, sometimes they'll plan an early dismissal, but that isn't always possible.
If we get a tornado warning, 10-15 minutes before school's out or, before buses run, we're going to hold kids. We will hold our students in their location that they do where they go for their tornado warning, and we're going to hold them till that warning lifts for our county and for our area.
Tornadoes can form with little to no warning. So what happens if a warning is issued minutes after students are dismissed and buses are already on the road?
Whichever the safest or closest safe room is to the bus, if they can make it based on what the radar is showing, that's where they will go.
Miami has a number of rural routes that its buses run. Baldridge says they have a similar plan.
It's Oklahoma. Weather is unpredictable a lot of times, and sometimes you get caught out, and that's when I said, we will just communicate with them, get your kids to shelter as soon as possible, wherever that might be.
Both Baldridge and Harding say safety procedures are always under review.
How we did things 10 years ago with the storm shelters is not the same way we'd probably do them today. And we just learn those lessons every time we have a situation.
I'm Chris Warner for KOAM Skywatch Weather.
Now, both districts say while the weather situation can change in an instant, they feel they've prepared for whatever Mother Nature sends their way. Today, the National Weather Service marks the beginning of Severe Weather Preparedness Week in Kansas and Missouri. Emergency management teams will be spreading awareness and promoting severe weather safety throughout the week. emphasizing different weather disasters each day. You see them listed there. On Wednesday, for example, Missouri and far eastern Kansas will conduct a statewide tornado drill at 11 in the morning. While emergency crews say this is only a drill, residents are encouraged to treat it like a real emergency. Pittsburgh is moving forward with plans for a new multi-million-dollar water treatment plant. The current city-owned facility is about 65 years old, and the city's been working on a design for a new facility for years. Recently, Pittsburgh received about a $60 million loan to make the project a reality. The current plant will be completely decommissioned, and the new plant will increase capacity and bring the facility into compliance with their new permit. The plant director says the facility helps purify water to promote the health and safety of the community, including a large industrial manufacturer they're supplying water for. Local restaurant owner highlights the importance of reliable, safe water for her small business.
For cooking, we wash all our dishes. We need clean water for that. We have our soda machine that takes water. We have soup. Everything from start to finish is going to take water. You don't realize.
That project's going to take about 2 years, and the city hopes to begin construction in May. A grant program in Coffeyville hopes to revitalize that city's historic downtown. 6 grants of up to $20,000 is available for local business and property owners. Applicants would be required to match any grant up to 25%. The goal is to make improvements with the intention of preserving the downtown area's historic nature and making it more visually appealing. City staff hope the improvement will revitalize the community.
We really want the downtown to look appealing, to help attract and keep people in the downtown. So this year, that's the plan. We will adjust again for the next year, and we'll keep making changes, all for the benefit of our downtown revitalization.
The spring round of applications is due March 15th. There will also be a fall round opening in June. A bill before the Missouri Senate could turn some people into bounty hunters of sorts. That story is coming up, but first.
To take effect within hours. I'm Erica Brown in Washington with more on that and the Trump administration's pause on military aid to Ukraine.
This at Costco.com.
The Trump administration says sweeping import taxes on goods from America's closest and biggest trading partners will begin at midnight. The impending tariffs renewed fears of a North American trade war and sent stocks tumbling. Comes as President Trump cuts off all military aid to Ukraine. Erica Brown has the latest from Washington.
At the White House Monday, President Trump confirmed 25% tariffs on goods from Mexico and Canada were imminent.
The tariffs, they're all set. They go into effect tomorrow.
The announcement triggered a sell-off on Wall Street. The Dow dropped 650 points. The Nasdaq fell sharply. And the S&P 500 had its worst single-day drop of 2025. President Trump said tariffs were penalties for fentanyl coming across the border and added the countries would also need to increase their investment in the U.S.
So what they have to do is build their car plants, frankly, and other things in the United States, in which case they have no tariffs.
Trump highlighted a $100 billion investment in U.S. semiconductor chip manufacturing from the CEO of a Taiwanese company. Economists warn the cost will be paid for by consumers. One recent study estimates the new tariffs could cost the average U.S. family more than $1,200 a year.
These could show up in consumer prices fairly quickly.
Republican Senator Susan Collins of Maine has asked the Trump administration to reconsider.
Maine's economy is very integrated with Canada. Certain Maine products, such as lobster and blueberries, are often processed in Canada and then come back.
The Trump administration is also continuing its standoff with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, pausing and reviewing military aid to Ukraine until Trump determines Ukraine is committed to peace.
You're gambling with World War III.
The announcement followed Friday's showdown in the Oval Office. In Zelensky's earlier remarks, saying the end of Russia's war with Ukraine is still, quote, very, very far away. Erica Brown, CBS News, Washington.
President Trump is scheduled to address both houses of Congress tomorrow night. A bill before the Missouri State Senate would offer $1,000 to people who help turn in undocumented immigrants. Senate Bill 72 would make it a state felony for anyone in the U.S. illegally to enter and stay in Missouri. It would also create an opportunity for licensed bond agents to become bounty hunters. The bill's sponsor says the reward is similar to those offered by law enforcement agencies seeking information on a crime. Opponents say the bill is already spreading fear in both legal and undocumented immigrants. A little bit later, some aspiring green thumbs in Joplin dig in at a local coffee shop for some gardening tips.
And we're tracking severe weather in the area tonight and tomorrow. I'll have all those details coming up.
We're here to help. We are the 4 states.
Listen, Aaron Saxon Associates. Thank you.
Well, we're tracking potential severe weather in the area, so let's dive right in, taking a look outside Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. Right now, we've just got overcast. No rain has started to move into the area just yet. Though we're watching our winds. We've got a high wind warning that's going to be the lighter yellow out there in Kansas, and a wind advisory for the rest of us, light tan color, Missouri, Arkansas, and Oklahoma. And all those are until Wednesday, because winds aren't going anywhere. Now, we also have a severe thunderstorm watch that's a darker orange, a couple counties out there in Kansas, now near Ponca City, a tornado watch for the areas that are seeing those storms really starting to pop up right now. So you can see we've got a severe thunderstorm warnings along that line of storms. Now, by the time it moves into our area, kind of enters an area of a little bit more stable air. So we've got our dry line pushing through, and then there's our cold front with storms popping up. Now, so far, haven't seen a tornado popping up yet, but you do have a couple of hail warnings on that. You might get a little bit of hail, but most of the storms are holding off in our area until tomorrow. Now, we are still in a marginal risk for severe weather tomorrow. Now, out Delaware and Benton County, and a slight risk for those severe storms. Again, our main threat is going to be the winds. We see winds gusting up to 40 miles per hour through this evening. Now you can see where the storms are going to be pushing into the area. Winds shift a little bit, and then as that storm rotates around, our low pressure system rotates around, we get winds out of the north-northwest, strong winds gusting up to 50 miles per hour all the way through Wednesday. So we're going to see that warning and wind advisories and wind warnings continue until Wednesday, but we also are dealing with flash flood potential and still maybe slight risk for hail. So as this storm starts to move in, now you can see our line of storms pushing in around 1 a.m. to 2 a.m., but really kind of moving into the area by 2:30, Yates Center all the way to Parsons. Now, stronger out in the southwest, but as it moves into the area, a little bit less instability in our atmosphere. So storm breaks up. We have widespread thunderstorms across the area through most of the morning tomorrow. So by 7:30, hitting the Joplin Metro, Nevada, starting to make its way into the Joplin area, Miami as well. Now, you can see pretty widespread thunderstorms all the way through the morning. This is now 9 a.m. Not getting rid of the rain until closer to noon. But we have isolated supercell, thunderstorms popping up tomorrow afternoon as well, and this is where another threat can pop up. Now, we don't have a cap. We've got a good shear, good instability for these storms to produce some type of severe weather as well. We're going to keep an eye on those. If they do kind of start off a little bit past that cold front, then we could see some of these produce a possible tornado. Now, it is going to be a low threat still, but we're going to keep an eye on those early afternoon supercells that pop up. Then, right after that, we've got the back end of this low pressure system bringing in a lot of cold air really quickly and pushing in some snow in the area, though not going to be, again, a big threat with that. So we've got wind threat. We've got tomorrow afternoon, all modes of severe weather threat. We've also got in the morning some flash flooding threats with some areas getting some quick patches of rainfall. And then tomorrow night we have a potential for snow as well. So a lot's going on in a 24-hour period. And then the winds aren't going away anywhere by Wednesday. We're still seeing pretty strong wind gusts through the morning. So a lot going on. Definitely stay aware through tonight and tomorrow, because early afternoon another severe threat kind of pops up, and then we've got winter weather later that night, plus blowing snow, which could cause visibility for your morning commute on Wednesday.
A little bit of everything.
A lot of everything there.
Thanks, Lindsay. Well, spring is almost here, and a lot of aspiring gardeners are taking the opportunity to learn the basics of growing their own fresh produce. A free beginner gardening class took place at Joplin Greenhouse Coffee Shop this evening, offering valuable tips for both first-time gardeners and those looking for a refresher. Participants learned everything from choosing the right location and improving soil health to planting, caring for crops, and harvesting.
My favorite thing about gardening is the reward of gardening. I really enjoy harvesting things, and it's really good family time. Some of my favorite things to plant in the garden would be tomatoes, of course, green beans, and asparagus. Those would be probably my top three.
Experts were on hand to answer questions and provide practical tips to help people build a successful garden. The Sunshine Child Care Center in Pittsburgh kicked off a week inspired by Dr. Seuss today. The Learning Center says it has planned a week filled with activities taken from some of the author's popular books. The center started the event with a nod to the book One Fish, Two Fish, Red Fish, Blue Fish by encouraging everyone to wear red and blue. The SU football team got in on the Dr. Seuss tribute by reading to the kids. Still ahead, Missouri Southern announces the hiring of its next volleyball head coach, and Pitt State softball plays its 2025 home opener. John Dales has those stories and more up next in sports.
Your Mocan Chevy dealer today.
The Pittsburgh State softball team has been full of road warriors this year. Gorillas are 16 games into the season. They've got an 11-5 record, and every single one of those contests have been played away from home. This afternoon, that changes, though. Pittsburgh State softball hosts Southwest Baptist for its home opener. It's game one of a doubleheader. It's tied at 1 in the bottom of the first. That's when Kylie Lamont absolutely crushes this pitch to straightaway center and gone for a 3-run homer, and the Gorillas take a 4-1 lead. Next inning, same score, PSU still in front 4-1. Heather Arnett laces this one to deep right field. That's gone as well, into the bleachers. Her first home run of the season, and the Gorillas get it done, not only at the plate, but also in the field. Next inning, runner on, chopper over towards short. Arnett fields, gets the runner out at first, then a quick throw over towards third, and that's a double play. Big-time defensive effort there from PSU. And then bottom 3, Caden Trokim absolutely tees off on this pitch. That's the third Gorilla home run of the afternoon. And Pittsburgh State takes care of Southwest Baptist 10-2, the final score in the first game of the doubleheader. Gorillas win game 2 as well. Final score 9-3 in that one. Sophia Driver hits a home run. Courtney Story collects 3 runs batted in off 2 hits. And in Missouri high school basketball, classes 1-3, they're already through district tournament play, and this evening we've got sectional playoff games. We start in Class 3 with a battle between a couple of our local schools. Lamar takes down New Heights 70-60. That means the Tigers advance to the Class 3 state quarterfinals, where they will face Thayer on Friday night. Now, if the Tigers win that contest, they go on to the Final Four at the University of Missouri's campus in Columbia. Same is true over in Class 1. Macaulay Catholic boys basketball is moving on to the state quarterfinals as well. Warriors take down Drexel 40-32. They'll face Wheatland, who has lost just 3 games all season, in that quarterfinal playoff game on Friday, and they hope to punch their ticket to the Final Four. Missouri Southern Athletics announces this afternoon the Lions have found their next volleyball head coach, who's very familiar with the area. Kelly Richardson is the new leader of the Southern volleyball program. In a press release from Southern Athletics, she says, quote, "From the moment I stepped on campus, it felt like home, and it was obvious why Southern is such a special place." Now, Richardson has more than 11 years of collegiate coaching experience, including being the head coach at Western Illinois and at Southwest Baptist. Most recently, she has served as director of the 417 Juniors Volleyball Club. That's the largest elite club in Southwest Missouri. And I think if you have your head coach that's part of a program like that with up-and-coming high school kids, definitely helps out your college program.
No doubt about it. I'm sure the athletes are looking forward to having that coach.
Yeah.
We'll be right back.
Winter weather is
We're proud to salute Everett Underwood, a 4-state hero.
After 2 years of trying, one Kansas City animal advocate is doing all he can to get a shelter dog adopted, even taking to the skies. Alan Shope has more.
Jimmy is a dog that I rescued almost 2 years ago.
And this 4-year-old pup has earned the name Jimmy 600. Scott says that's how many days he's been without a home, despite his best efforts to try and get him adopted.
And every time we get really close, something happens and it just falls apart.
So Scott decided to think outside the box, and I mean way outside the box. He paid to put up this giant billboard 3 weeks ago near 77th and Warnall.
I thought the billboard would be a great idea to get some new eyes on Jimmy, maybe some people that haven't heard his story.
Scott says Jimmy was rescued just 2 hours before he was said to be euthanized in a Wichita shelter. Now, the billboard has only a week left, and Jimmy remains in a boarding home.
He's just such a good dog, but nobody seems to want him, and it's just killing me.
Scott says those 600 days are more like 700 days now. He says they've had the sign here for as long as 3 weeks, and they've had very little inquiry about it.
I thought, man, we're going to get so many inquiries right away, and after, I want to say 14 days, we had 0 inquiries.
Scott has put up other billboards, and those animals were adopted quickly. He's not sure why this one continues to not receive any interest.
Just a lovable dog that was put in the wrong situation at the wrong time.
Scott's hoping to raise more money to extend the billboard, which, as of yesterday, has less than a week left in Kansas City. But maybe getting a little TV publicity will help with that as well. We'll find out. Some stormy weather coming in.
We've got a lot going on over the next 24 hours. So tonight, storms start around 1 to 2 a.m. It's a line of storms moving in. Main threat going to be wind. Now, early afternoon, we've got isolated supercells that could pop up, bringing even more severe threat. And then tomorrow night, we've got snow. So quite a bit of turnaround there for the next 24
weather
hours.
potpourri.
Exactly.
Something for everybody, I guess. Final sports note.
Tomorrow we'll be visiting with the Fairland High School boys basketball team. They're headed to the state tournament later this week. It's the first time that they've done so in, get this, 100 years. 100 years ago, the Fairland boys team made state.
Wow.
Haven't made it again till now.
There are many schools out there that haven't had teams or even schools for 100 years. Thanks for joining us. Don't forget the morning show starts at 5 a.m. and let's make it a great tomorrow.